Well, a very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Candy Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. My name is Herman Sokinyi. It's my pleasure to have you on board on Kenya's most comprehensive political and public governance analysis show. Definitely, this is the Candid Talk. My good name, as I've said, is Herman Sokinyi, and I'm here with my resident guest, Wakili Willis Otieno, who is the deputy party leader of Safina Party, and as well as a constitutional law and governance expert. Wakili, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning to you. Yes.
I want us to begin from the events of the weekend. Of course, we saw what happened at the Nyayo National Stadium. There was that match between Kenya and Gabon, the reactions from the people. You had all those chants, anti-government chants that actually rented the air in that particular event. What do you make of all that? How is the mood in the country? Because we thought that maybe the recent political arrangement would have pacified issues and therefore Kenyans would be at a better place.
Why will the people need to be pacified? What made them to be angry in the first place? It's the economy. And if that issue has not been addressed, how will you expect a political settlement to pacify them? And the chants were not just at Nyayo Stadium. Even in Naivasha, at the WRC rally, people expressing their feelings openly. And they're saying Kasongo must go. That remains the clarion call of the people of Kenya. And it's purely because they are not addressing the economic pain that Kenyans are going through. Kenyans are now a depressed lot. People have lost hope. And they are not seeing any political formation as addressing their challenge. And that problem is going to persist until that day when the people will feel they have gotten some relief in their pockets, that their economy is making sense to them. Those chants will not subside. The tempo will just keep increasing until that time that we resolve that which has made the people to be angry. And it is the economy stupid, as Safina Party will put it.
So you believe that ever since 25th of June, the mood in the country has not actually changed?
It has not changed.
And we are actually witnessing a continuation of the same.
In fact, if you ask me, the people are getting more and more angry because there are more job losses today, this year, than it was last year. The cost of living keeps going up. The consumption power of people to participate in the economy is reducing every day. Things are out of reach for most Kenyans. They cannot afford basic services. They cannot afford the basic needs of a human being. Many people are struggling. We may sit here and pontificate, but the reality on the ground, what people are going through, it's painful.
Okay.
And hence, there is no political formation. Even if all politicians in this country were to join government, to form one administration, if that formation is not about addressing the economic question, primarily, it's the economic question. If it's not addressing the economic question, I'm sorry, the chance will just keep going up.
There are certain individuals who've actually cast aspersions and doubts over the chants at Nyayo National Stadium and at Naivasha, as you're saying it here, on how organic they were. Certain people believe that maybe these chants were not generally organic and therefore could have been from certain sources who are actually out here to undermine the president. Could that be the case?
I don't think that anybody has the capacity to mobilize and organize people in those numbers in different locations on the same day. That person will be a genius to do it. When somebody says that these things are organized, in my view, you are trying to downplay the feelings of the people of Kenya. And any time when people congregate today, even if it is only 3 people congregating, you'll find that the economic pain will inevitably form part of the conversation. When people are even back in their own homes, people are paying attention to every coin that they're spending. They are seeing the desperate situation of the home. When they are not able to afford food, they have to do away with certain luxuries. They are seeing desperate situations when hospital bills cannot be paid by share. They have to dig into their own savings or to set up WhatsApp groups or to beg to be able to take care of their loved ones who are sick. They are seeing their young people who have qualified are staying out jobless. They are seeing their kids who are not getting education the ones who should be in university didn't report because they didn't have money. They're the ones who keep calling for fundraisings to help them raise school fees even for secondary school kids. So you cannot tell me that anybody needs to be organized to say what their true feelings is and what they're discussing every day.
Okay.
And if it was just an organized group, I assure you that after that event, the feelings will be different. There's always what you say, reading the mood of the nation. And what is the general mood of the people today? People are economically deprived, and they're feeling that pain of the economy. Hence, these desperate cries and calls that you witness every day. But if somebody believes that it is purely an organized group, and that this is just a political contestation, then it's okay. They can continue living in that bubble.
Okay.
The time when it bursts, it will catch up with them.
I want us to get done with the events of the weekend and all that. What do you make of what befell Mias East Member of Parliament, Honorable Peter Salassia?
Of course, it's quite unfortunate that certain people felt that they're uncomfortable with Peter Salassia, and they kicked him out of the stadium, almost violently attacked him. Probably because of his political views. We do not want a country where, because someone holds a divergent political view from that which you believe in, that you should subject them to an attack. That is something that needs to be condemned, and the state machinery needs to move in, take action, and call to book the perpetrators of the attack against Peter Salassia. You may not like what Salassia says. It is right to say it. Just the same way he doesn't like what you believe in. It is his right to have that view. It's also your right to, in a non-violent manner, express your displeasure with Peter Salassia. Nobody is stopped from holding a contrary view and shouting it or expressing it with words. It only becomes a problem when you express your displeasure with blows. But even if you look at the desperate group that is attacking Salassia, it tells you even that group, underlying their frustration, is economic pain. Themselves, they are frustrated with the system. Now they're just venting. And that is something that needs to be condemned. I do hope that that attack was not orchestrated by any political party.
Okay, let's get to this. Now, in as much as all these things are happening, one interesting thing is that the president is actually preparing for the Mount Kenya visit. After traversing the rest of the countries in what he terms development tour, it's now the time for the mountain. And this comes at a time when things are not so rosy between the president and the central Kenya region, based on the recent political developments in the region, considering even what happened to Rigathi Gachagua and the betrayal card that has been seen there. At least what these people say. What do you make of, first of all, what do you make of these development tours, and then specifically talking about central Kenya? What should President William Ruto actually go ahead and achieve, if at all he goes ahead and pays this visit? And of course, before that, we saw certain leaders from that particular region being summoned and having a meeting with the president as well, maybe to prepare the way for him. I want us to actually engage and get your whole view about his central tour. Do you think it will yield fruits for him?
You know, if you look at the leaders that William Ruto hosted in State House from central Kenya, if you look at any picture from that meeting, it looked like a funeral. There was no buoyancy in the group that was in State House. Why were they mourning even before it happens? So it tells you that they understand their
Were they really mourning?
I mean, look at the pictures, not me who say it. Look at the picture. Anybody can tell a happy group and a sad group. That the pictures that I saw was a group that appeared like they were mourning. They were not happy. Ideally, when a president is visiting a region, your home, you should be happy and jovial about it. But those ones looked like they were being given a Herculean task to perform, to organize the ground so that that visit can be successful. But let me say this. It's within William Ruto's rights and part of his duty to visit all parts of the country as the president or even as a Kenyan. So it's within his right to visit central Kenya and do whatever he wants to do. It doesn't mean that when he visits, that it will change the political perceptions and beliefs of those people. They have made up their mind. And I don't think the acrimony in central Kenya is caused by lack of roads or incomplete projects. It's caused by the economy. So you can go and try to launch a road, but it's the loan responding to the economy. Because unfortunately for William Ruto, also where he finds himself, any time when he launches a project, its completion is another story altogether. So the launch is just for fanfare, photo ops, then the tractors leave. The people are left there with the desperation. If he was going there to launch an economic master plan or Marshall Plan for the nation, not just for Central, then maybe he will have had an audience. But he will go, of course, obviously they will carry with them some goons, some hooligans on motorbikes, try to show that they have crowds, to show the optics to the rest of the nation that you see, I even have acceptance in Central. But as they say, the sweetness of the pudding is in the eating. When the elections time come, he will meet his Waterloo, not just in Central, but in the rest of the country, where people are saying his response to our economic pain is not working, and they'll reject it.
The people who believe that the political marriage between President William Ruto and the mountain region is actually done and dusted. It no longer exists. Politically, if you look at this situation, if that is a reality on the ground, do you think it would be politically sound for the president to go ahead, visit the region?
Of course.
And of course, for people highly believe that these visits are highly political.
Of course, those visits are campaign visits. That's an issue. We are all old enough to know when there's a visit to carry out administrative functions and when it's a visit for political optics. That's a visit for political optics, no doubt about it. And he's trying to reclaim lost ground. And it is within his right to campaign in that region. But it's another story to convert those visits into votes. Because ultimately, it's the people who will vote. And they will not vote by the roadside. They will vote in their respective polling stations and make known their political choices. The MPs that he was hosting at State House, some of them have not stepped in their constituencies since the Finance Bill 2024. This is going to be probably the first time that they are going to visit their own constituencies. Purely because the people are not happy with them perpetuating a regime that is causing them economic pain. That is something that I urge any person who is analyzing our politics not to ignore. We are where we are because of the economic failures of Kenya Kwanza. And these failures are felt not just in Central, but in the rest of the nation. Even if you go to the streets of Kisumu today, streets of Mombasa, go to Marsabit, the cry is the same. We do not have money in our pockets. People are desperate. People are crying. So a man must try. Let him try. But it's another story if there will be anything out of that attempt. I assure you, nothing will change until that day that it addresses the economic question. Everything William Ruto is doing is just buying time. He's trying to get a good feel factor, which he will not get at the end of all this. He was in Nairobi last week, but nobody's even talking about him in Nairobi anymore. Yeah. All we remember is there were people being attacked after his visit. So, did he gain any political mileage in Nairobi? No. At the end of this, when people went to Nyayo Stadium, they were shouting, Ruto must go. Why? If the visit in Nairobi was successful, if people believed the promises he was making, you would not have had Ruto must go chants loudly reverberating through the stadium as they were. So it tells you that his visit was not addressing the problem.
So if these visits are heavily political and is alive to the fact that for him the mountain is seemingly hostile right now, why are we still seeing him there?
But a man must try. What option does he have?
How do you try?
A man must try. A man must try. So he's trying. So he gets an E for effort. He's trying. But what option does he have? Because he must try. When you saw him in Nairobi, Nairobi was the epicenter of the protests against him. When you saw him in Nairobi, it is part of trying. It's another story if that attempt will succeed. But you also cannot expect him to sit and watch as these things slip through his hands, he will try to do something. He is rather fail in an attempt than fail without trying. So that's what you are witnessing.
Let's talk of the reception and the attendance. What do you expect? In as much as I don't want us to preempt, but then we're already here. What do you expect? What kind of reception do you expect the
I
president
think the reception will be a bit cold or lukewarm. And I hope that there will be no physical attack or ugly scenes when he visits, because it is right, as I've said, it is everybody's right to visit any part of the country. And most of the president have the right to be and to attend to any issues in any part of the country. That is his right. And probably there are people who will keep off those meetings. But there are also people who are going to attend those meetings. I believe 1 or 2 people still support him. But I also believe there are people who are going to be paid. If you are paid 1,000 shillings or 5,000 shillings for the town halls, the ones they want to hold in the tents, I mean, when you are faced with the reality of getting 5,000 shillings for a day, to sit in a tent for 3 hours, many Kenyans in the desperate economic situation they are in, they will take it.
Okay.
If you offer a young man 1,000 shillings to attend a rally and shout, they will take it and they will attend the rally. But that does not mean that you've bought their vote. That was an assignment, a contract for the day. People will go, but it will not change the underlying issues and the undercurrents that is helping to fuel the Ruto must go refrain across the entire country.
So if you look at the political temperatures in the country, and specifically the central Kenya region, now that we are actually expecting the president to visit that area, do you then believe that now it has reached a point where the president actually could regret antagonizing this particular region by through the removal of
You see,
Rigathi Gachagua?
I always tell you this, I always tell you, and this is my position. I do not believe that Central Kenya left William Ruto because of Gachagua. By the 25th of June, Gachagua was still deputy president. That region and the rest of Kenya had left William Ruto. Removing Gachagua was just to add an ally to the anti-Ruto forces. Okay? So it was not like he left, Gachagua was removed, then Central Kenya left. No, it was the other way around. Central Kenya and the rest of the country had left. Then as part of him trying to address or to persuade the country back to him, he removed Gachagua. He did not help. People are still there. So Gachagua is in that space as a loud voice of the people who are not happy with William Ruto. So he gets a bigger audience. He has a louder voice as a clarion to the Ruto must go. But I don't think it has got anything to do with Gachagua as the reason why Central left Ruto. They had left him anyway.
So you believe it has nothing to do with Gachagua? It has nothing to do with the purge on members of parliament from that particular region, from the various committees in parliament?
The members of parliament were purged last week. Yeah, it was last week. The divorce between Central Kenya and Ruto was in 2024. At least made known publicly by June. So it had nothing to do with the purge of members of parliament. It had nothing. You see, people are not saying that give our people jobs. I don't think the problem of the country today is that there's a region saying we want positions of chairmen of committees, we want positions of PSS and CSS. If anything, Central Kenya as a region has how many PSS and CSS? In the last reshuffle, they were added 2 more senior positions. That region, singularly, as a block, has the largest caucus in the cabinet.
Okay.
So, but the people are not with the government administration because it doesn't matter. Of what help is it to you that your neighbor is a CS or a PS and your kid is at home, can't afford school fees? You slept angry last night. People are beyond those old politics. That was old politics, where we believed that if mtu wetu ako hapo, then we are okay. That is done and dusted. We'll never go back to that space. He can appoint all the people he wants. He can even have 100% members from Central Kenya to be part of his cabinet. But they will not move because the economy is hurting them. And as it's hurting any other Kenyan. It's the economy, stupid.
Then why would the reception be different elsewhere?
But where elsewhere has the situation been different? The cries that you hear from Luo Nyanza is the same. Are you seeing any overwhelming outpouring of love for William Ruto in Nyanza?
But at least the mood is not the same as that in Central.
No, even in Nairobi. Are you seeing any outpouring of love for William Ruto? It's not. I'm telling you, the whole country is on the economy. That is the main issue that has made those who are with William Ruto to leave him. And part of his looking for survival is to look for Raila Odinga, to prop him to finish his term.
So you believe that the all divorce, if at all it exists between the mountain region and President William Ruto, is purely based on failed economic promises and nothing else to do with personality?
It has everything to do with the failed economic promises. The issue of personalities, in fact, where Gachagua sits, if I were him, I would be very happy. Because now he's been divorced by the failed economic pain that William Ruto has brought to the people of Kenya. Yeah. Otherwise, he'll be carrying this burden on his shoulder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's wait and see. We wish President William Ruto all the best as he plans on traversing the larger central Kenya region in a bid to at least owe the people, or is it taking in their development projects for them? We'll wait and see. And ladies and gentlemen, our eyes are fixed on that particular region. We'll keep you updated with comprehensive analysis of all that is taking place in that region, as well as other parts of our great country here, Kenya. Allow me to stop for now. Weigh in and tell us what you think till we have this conversation again. Have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans Mokinyi.